All right, recording's underway from my end. Hey, Chris, good morning. John, good morning. All right, let me switch back to my other camera here. All right, so weekly recap it is. Pretty interesting week, yes? Here's this little guy. Actually, really good week. So I have a lot to talk about. I have a Keep It Seriously Simple video that is actually processing right now that I'll be posting right after this session. And that'll be another lesson added to my YouTube video series. So you can check that out. Juan, nice to see you. Good morning. All right. So if you're following me out there on social media, you're on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chris Pulver. Perhaps you're tuning in from Facebook. Hello, Facebook. That's facebook.com/Chris Pulver Trading. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. At Instagram, it's pulver.chris. Twitter, it's pulverchris. I'm also streaming on Twitch. And I'm even getting into TikTok, which I'm not going to lie. I really disliked TikTok at first. But what's interesting is I can tell that the algorithm is already starting to cater to what I've been, watching. I watch a lot of trading videos to kind of see what's out there, and no discredit to anybody that's just like showing a screen and just kind of BSing their way through a 60-second video. But I also watch a lot of food videos and whatever sticks out to be funny. So I send myself a lot of home improvement stuff, food stuff, and trading stuff, and TikTok's pretty interesting. All right. Hey, Peter, good morning. Gary, what's happening? All right. We're going to get into some charts here. We're going to look at some stocks. We're going to look at some Forex pairs, some cryptocurrencies, talk about the week that was. I have some interesting, it's 9:30, so Wall Street is open. I want to see what GameStop is doing today. It's been a bit of a story this week. I did take some profits on AMC. I bought that around $6.70. I closed out yesterday just shy of $11. So not a huge gain, but not too shabby. It was like 70% on the position. GameStop for the week, 100% gain. If you watch price yesterday, we came right up into the gap, faded that gap for about an 80+% move, rallied back up for another 80+% move. So if we have any day traders out there, anybody that's been watching, there's certainly some opportunity to take advantage of it. All right, so we're going to get into some charts. We understand there's risk in trading. Please and always use trade capital only. Don't trade with money you cannot afford to lose. It is all risk capital. If you're following me out there on YouTube, I have a video series called Keep It Seriously Simple. I have a video that's coming today. I'll be posting that and premiering that this afternoon. I'm just going to go ahead and post it right after we wrap up this live session. Look for this to hit my YouTube channel, and I'll be live on the premiere if you want to ask any questions. But it's about trade management, managing our winning trades, managing losing trades. This actually came in from a comment. Hey, Chris, can you do a video on drawdowns or managing bad trades? And my answer to that was yes. I also wanted to add more to that. And add, how about managing winning trades? How about managing profits? Because at the end of the day, we have to manage both winners and losers, right? And our job is to manage losers better. And probably that's where most traders will end up improving their trading results, is managing losing trades better. And then once our best problem is, how do I manage my winners better? How do I squeeze more profits out of my winning trades? I talk about that in the video as well. So that'll be hitting my YouTube channel very soon today, right after this session. Actually, it's about 71% processed right now. I did it. It's about a 40-minute video, so it should be a pretty good lesson for everybody. And then also I'll be starting here in the next probably week or so a new playlist on my YouTube channel for trading indicators. If you have any indicators you'd like me to review, if there are indicators that you have been trading with or have been using, now don't tell me custom systems. Don't say, hey Chris, show me your perfect storm. I mean, I'll show it to you, but I'm looking for like standard indicators, right? Like if anyone uses moving averages, how to effectively use moving averages, using Bollinger Bands, awesome oscillators, zigzags, right? Divergence, RSI, all these different indicators that are widely accepted that you see on CNBC, on Bloomberg, right? These common indicators that the big banks use. I'm going to be doing a kind of a A to Z lesson from there. Okay. All right, Linda, what's happening? Charles, good morning. Linda says, learned a lot this week. Hey, you know what? I got an email this morning. Let me find this gentleman here. I've got an email from Donald. I thought this was a really great email. Hey, I've been in your flex room for about 5 days now. And yesterday morning, I was upside down in my pips. I was not happy, of course, but I stayed with it. And this morning, I'm into profit. So, Linda, that makes me think of you as well. We had quite the swing this week, didn't we? Quite the swing. In my Telegram channel, my Flex Trading Room, we had quite the swing. I'm going to bring up Telegram right here. Jordan, how are you? GAN, okay, yep. I'm actually going to do a video in my Keep It Seriously Simple video series. I'll do a video on GAN retracements as well as Fibonacci's. That'll be cool. Jamie, what's happening? How are you? Great run this week. It sure was. It sure was. And we're not done. We're not even close to done. So I had some of my signals close up this morning. So 26 pips on the Euro Aussie for one position, 123 pips on another, 222 on another. So nice little gain there on the Euro Aussie on three positions. All done, by the way, with Price Action Pro. We didn't have to do anything there. Nice little run. I also scalped the Euro Aussie yesterday with a couple of manual trades, and I'll show you what I did there. Euro New Zealand closed out for 185 pips. That was with one entry. We waited for Price Action Pro to get filled. Right, so just this week, the old Price Action Pro 185 and 222 and 123 and 26 on a couple of currency pairs. Aussie dollar was a sell trade. Pound New Zealand. This actually closed out for profit. We had 155 and minus 40, so I closed out for a net 110. And I'm still going to let those trades run. So a nice little week. It took some time. We required some patience, but it was pretty solid. Okay, so happy with that overall. I meant to show you this. If you can see my screen here, I was actually reading. I'm so used to doing my trading room in the bottom right monitor that I have, not the top right. So anyway, I was actually walking you through my charts here. So this is actually my signal service that was closed up. There's Euro Aussie for profit, Euro Aussie for profit. All these trades were closed up this morning, and we're not done. I'm still looking to get back in. I'm looking to reload, and that's actually what I talk about in my trade management video. Okay, so I think it's important that we jump into the charts here. So let's go ahead and do that. And thanks for the comments coming in. Yep, Gary says Hekinashi. That's fine. So let me actually take some notes here. So I'll do, I knew I have a fib, okay, a fib and GAN video, which probably lines up nicely with the next video for me, for my Keep It Seriously Simple series. The reason why is I talked about them actually in my trade management video that will be dropping here right after the session. So I'll do that one next. And then the A to Z, I'm going to throw in the Hekinashi. That's a good one. And so I'll just have like a 5 or 10 minute video on Hekinashis. Will you cover what you're going to do with the reload? Yes, I will. Absolutely. Okay. Elliott Wave. I see that as well. Elliott Wave. Cool. Okay. And I'm not gonna claim that I'm this, like Elliott Wave. I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough to recognize a 5-wave pattern, but you're never going to see me plot Roman numerals and, small ABCs and large ABCs, like, the minutia that I can see some Elliott Wave charts get into is crazy. Like the amount of stuff on a chart, and at the end of the day, it's still subjective. That's what's interesting about Elliott Wave, is an Elliott Wave person will tell you that this is so objective and it's always right, but the same thing is true with somebody that plots Fibonacci, right? So when I see somebody that does this, let me go ahead and get up my drawing tool. When I see somebody that's plotting on like 1 hour charts and 15-minute charts and smaller time frames, and they're plotting Elliott Wave patterns and Elliott Wave cycles, I mean, it drives me crazy, where it's like, okay, so we've got this, here is a sub AB swing, then we have a Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, and they dash it all up and they blot it all out, and it's like, so where's it going? And they have, one direction going this way, one direction going this way, and then we're still stuck wondering, like, so what do I do? So my point is, with Elliott Wave, and I'll do a video on this, if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's what I'm looking for. Now, I know that if we have an impulsive wave, we're looking for a 2 correction, a 3 impulsive wave, a 4 correction, and a 5 impulsive wave. Usually the 5th wave is the slowest, okay? The 3rd wave is the fastest, and once we finish our 5th wave, we're oftentimes seeing an ABC correction back down to challenge the 4th. And so if you think about that, let me go ahead and highlight this with a different color. This is a very profitable leg of a trade right here. So again, we're sidebarring here on Elliott Wave. This is a really profitable leg of the trade. This is also a profitable leg of the trade. But you know what I end up trading a lot of? I try to trade this 3rd leg as much as possible. The 5th wave, I'm not as greedy on the 5th wave as some traders. I certainly believe in trend trading, but I love that 3rd wave. The 5th wave is great, but I'm usually really protective if we're, starting a 5th wave move, getting into those highs, making some new highs. I'm looking at protecting, and if I miss the trade, then I'm typically just waiting. And I trade this a lot. I trade this ABC correction a lot. That to me is price pattern trading, overbought, oversold conditions, lots of extremes, lots of targets and pockets to go back to. And so a lot of my pattern trading, if I'm going to incorporate some type of, market structure and Elliott Wave stuff, I'm incorporating it with some type of 3rd wave push and probably the ABC correction, and try to trade that as much as I can. Okay. Now, do I always talk about Elliott Wave? No. In fact, it just kind of goes along with market structure, support, resistance, and levels like that. Okay. All right. So let's talk about stocks for a second. All right, so Wall Street is open. Let me take a look at the dashboard this morning. So Wall Street is a bit mixed. We had a pretty horrible day yesterday, did we not? Futures this morning is flat, so a pretty volatile night. S&P futures is up after some choppiness. NASDAQ futures up after some choppiness as well. Gold sliding down to fresh lows. Ooh, gold looking pretty tasty for a buy trade there. So we'll take a look at gold. Silver off the highs. We were creeping up towards like $27.50, almost $28. I was talking about major resistance on silver around $30 or $29.50. I'd still like to see silver drop back down towards like $22 to buy again. Oil is still hanging tough. We did slide off the highs on oil, but we're still hanging tough in that $63 area. Let's take a look at that as well. But U.S. markets yesterday were definitely in the red, like 2 to 3% respectively in the red. Okay. All right. So let's go into the markets really quickly. I just want to talk about GameStop. Obviously, an interesting week. You know, the Reddit army came back in. Wall Street bets, stonks, all this stuff. They came back in. Lots of interest. Now, it was not a surprise to me that when we saw a 100% gain, that was not only intraday but after hours. That's what's so ridiculous about some of this movement. And by the way, I would say that if you have a broker that allows you to trade and close post-market, that is a really big deal, because if you are subjected to, this is the close of the day and it is going to, post-market start moving up and after hours move up and then pre-market starts to move back down, we should still be able to close out our trades. Now, you can click on extended hours and other things through broker platforms, but it's important that you can close. There are certain brokers that allow you to close, anytime between I guess market ends at 4 p.m. Eastern time. You might be able to close up until like 8 p.m. And then there's a window from like, 6 a.m. to 9:30 is open. So there's some extra windows there of trading. But if you look at this during the trading hours, this is just, again, after all of the excitement from the squeeze like crazy to 484 all the way back down to $45, it was an interesting buy position. Now, again, I didn't jump on GameStop this week. I just followed along. I was interested in watching it yesterday to trade it for this exact reason. A lot of times we're talking about this on Mondays and Fridays, just some really simple price action lessons. I talk about this in that trading management video as well that you'll see later on today. Look, this was the move here. We had a massive gap from the close. This was, so Friday, Thursday to Wednesday. So Wednesday to Thursday trading, you had Wednesday's close, Thursday's open. Now, it did not surprise me at all that price action-wise, we saw Wednesday's close to Thursday's open with this massive gap. It didn't surprise me at all that we had heavy profit taking and selling. As soon as the market opened, this thing just dropped right away. So anybody that has the ability to sell on margin, you had a really great gain there, right? That was from roughly 180. Let me see when that closes here. So that high, we opened at around 168. Came down to right at $100. Wow, so $68 out of $100. That's a 68% move. That's friggin' awesome, right? A 68% move, and then it gets even better. From a $100 low, you see some bullishness right in here. 118, it goes all the way back up to the highs at 180. So 180 minus 118, if you're, again, following bullish price action, we could talk about the Hekinashis I keep showing you guys and gals. 62 divided by 118, you're looking at another 50% move to the upside. So for active traders, I mean, again, it's not every stock that does this, but the amount of volume that we saw from Wednesday to Thursday, the volume was incredibly high. If you have high volume, if you have high volatility, I realize that my camera is way out of whack here. I must have nudged it. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. I'm fine. I'm right there. All right. The amount of volume and volatility that allowed this price to move very aggressively and all over the place was providing some pretty amazing trading opportunities. Now, today's trading, do we have any massive gaps? Not really. It's Friday. I'm not touching it. Okay, AMC. In my high octane group, we had some buy trades in around $6.70, and we had highs yesterday around $11. So I did end up closing this with a trailing stop at 10. It got up into this $10 and change. I got knocked out pretty much right over $10. So I closed out my AMC yesterday for profit. And again, from a $6, so it was roughly it was $10 minus $6.70. It was like 75 cents was our fill. Okay, about a 50% gain. So not too shabby. I'll take it. another couple of bucks to add to it, some cash on the side, which is good. Okay. So AMC, active trading, what would I do with it right now? Nothing. If it comes back down, this is what I'm interested in for both of these trades. AMC. So if you're in high octane with me, I'm closed out at 10 bucks. I'm still going to look at this trade. If this trade comes back down into this $5 and $6 area, I will look at a trade 1 and a trade 2 on AMC to hold long and see if we can get back into this $12.50 pivot to get back up into these squeeze highs around $20. Okay, so I'm still looking at AMC, but I'm also not going to just desperately overtrade this and think that AMC is all of a sudden going to get their act together and be this amazing movie theater chain once again. Okay, I think that they have a long uphill battle despite having cash and reserves to keep the company afloat. Doesn't necessarily mean that their business right now is doing well. Okay, all right. So GameStop, same thing. GME, what would I do on GameStop right now? At $130, I am not interested in holding GameStop. I am interested in watching this day-to-day volatility. I am interested in looking for opportunities to day trade this. But longer term, I mean, the idea of GameStop going back to this high, to me, seems insane. I don't think we're ever going to get back to that high. And I could be totally wrong, but I just feel like this was a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. This is a once-in-a-decade type thing. These short squeezes do happen, but a company that was, in single digits running to, $500, it's like it doesn't, those type of returns, those type of movements do not happen. I mean, you're literally playing like penny stocks in order for that type of craziness to happen. And that certainly doesn't happen very often. So am I interested in watching it and following along? Sure. For commentary, for lessons to take away from it? Absolutely. If there are day trading opportunities? Absolutely. But buying and holding GameStop, I'm not interested. Not interested. So yeah, you're right. It was just shy of that $200 yesterday, right? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, now let's take a look at the markets. So the SPY, look at this on the daily. What a difference. I mean, what a wild week this has been, hasn't it? I mean, we have opened today, so we are just positive on a slight gap up. But I want you to see, the daily candle really quickly. Take a look at the just this massive sell-off. I mean, the high from yesterday, we had our close all the way down towards, let me just highlight the candle here. We had a close on the SPY at 382.33, but we had a high all the way up towards 392. So 392 to the close at 382, that's a $10 move, right? $10 move is a pretty substantial move on the old SPY. So 10, we're talking about, nearly, again, a 3% sell-off, very close, 2.6%. So everything in the red yesterday from the SPY to the DIA, I mean, look at that. That is an amazing candle. Amazing candle. Now, we could say, I'm actually curious, is that an engulfing candle or is that a dark cloud? Either way, it looks pretty ominous, in my opinion. Now, we have noticed that every time the market sees these type of sell-offs at some point in the not too distant future, right here, for example, we might see another buy the dip, right? If this market is still keen on, okay, are we going to buy the dip again and still just let this bull train continue to run? Or will the bears actually take out some recent lows? So this resistance right here, can it hold? If this resistance does not hold and price is closing in here, then we're actually looking at some respectable corrections. We've mentioned that from these recent highs, we're talking about a 7 to 10% correction and slide in the stock market. Guess what? This could be a good opportunity to line up some great trades, line up some great stocks, and actually see the market slide a little bit. Okay? I mean, I got into Tesla at a horrible spot, and I got into NIO at a horrible spot. Tesla, I'm in around $800. And granted, I took some profit earlier on when they had big runs from 200 to 400 and 400 to 500 to 500 to 800. But I got back in. I was actually more long term. Like I bought it at 800. That was like, okay, participation at 800. I will buy more at 500. So if Tesla keeps sliding, I know there's a lot of volatility in Tesla. Okay, I would not be surprised if it slides to 500 plus. Okay, but from $500, if this is overall just a massive swing right here, if this is a massive swing from low to high, look and see where that yearly pivot is. This yearly pivot is right around the 50% level. Okay, so to me, that is a balanced move. If we're looking to buy the dip, past resistance becomes future support. If we look at a 50% Fibonacci level, Okay, and again, 50% is technically not a Fibonacci number, but it is the balance of the market. I love the 50%. This is one of my favorite ways to trade swings. If we have a swing this way, I love the 50%, and I love going after the 127. And I know if traders are familiar with Fibonacci, you're looking at the 382s and the 50s and the 618s and the 786s. You're trying to go after the 127 to the 1618. But one of my favorite trades for the highest probability is the 50 because it's balanced and the 127 because it's the easiest push. The market can hit the 127 all day long. The market might struggle and be more confusing as it's making its way to the 618. So if I can get these big institutional flows from the 50 or the 618 into that 127, those are awesome swing trades. Okay, so same thing is here. Like if Tesla ends up finding some great support around $500, who wouldn't love to see Tesla from $500 have swing, pull back again, and then launch up into the 127? We're over $1,000 from there, right? So take a $500 position and grow it 120%, 130%. Not too bad, right? So that's my point. So I'm in, and I'm in on NIO, and I built a little EV portfolio, and I shared that I think on Monday, and I shared that with my traders in the Flex Room this week. NIO is the same thing. I'm in a small trade here on NIO. This is essentially the China version of Tesla. I'm in around $50. Yearly pivot right here on 35. I mean, drag a Fibonacci, this low to this high. Drag a Fibonacci, and let's see what type of levels we have. So here's my fib from low to high. Okay, so do we pull back into this 50% level? 50%, 61%, 78%. Do we pull back into this area right here for a swing, higher low, and then push up into this 127? 127 to 1618. Now we're talking $85 to $100 on the stock. If I can buy NIO again, this is level one. If I buy it again around, let's say $30 to $35, and this thing goes up to $90 or $100, that's an amazing return. Okay, so I'm looking for that. I'm actually ready for this. So I'm kind of hoping that we still see the market slide a little bit, right? I really do. I really hope the market ends up sliding a little bit. It's been something we've been waiting for. It's been something that we know is likely going to happen on the technical side. And if you might be asking, well, why? Like, why did the market slide 2.5% yesterday? Why is the market bearish from yesterday's price? I will show you. This probably has a lot to do with it. Okay, this is the 10-year Treasury note. TNX is the ticker. This has made a very fast recovery, right? Look at where we at from a double bottom back in, this is the low from March of last year into the August lows as well. What's interesting about this is this double bottom from August to present, this 10-year note has been on the rise, okay? This usually is what I watch to compare the dollar index. This is why, and surprisingly, there was a disconnect between the 10-year note and the dollar, because as this was still rallying from the bottoms in August, the dollar was getting absolutely destroyed. Okay, and if you don't believe me, I'll just compare this with the US dollar index. Okay, take a look at this. So look at the difference between see if I can line this up a little bit better. Well, yeah, so this should not be inversely correlated. Usually what we should see here is if the 10-year note is rallying, we should see dollar strength. Okay, so notice the correlation. When the 10-year note was dropping, that's also when the dollar formed its high and was dropping as well. So the dollar has actually been sustaining this downtrend, and we've actually bottomed out here on the 10-year note. Now, what is causing some concern is this 10-year note is rallying very fast, and it is now making investors think that rates are going to start rising. Now, the central bank, the U.S. central bank, the Fed, they've talked about rates being untouched until 2023. We know that Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell are pretty much super doves at this point, especially after last year. And Janet Yellen stepping in with the new administration as Secretary of Treasury. Dovish, right? So what I would imagine happens here is, the 10-year note is probably going to settle back down. We have some resistance here. We come up into this 1.50 level. Okay, let me get rid of the comparison here. So dollar index, let me get rid of that so I can get the percentages back. There we go. So we are at 1.49. We had highs at 1.60. I could see this 10-year note settling down back into around 1.2 or 1.0. Okay. Now there's a lot more that goes into this as far as what I'm actually going to use this for. I'm using this as a gauge for my US dollar. I am positioned what I think are going to be great position trades on dollar CAD, dollar Swiss. It's certainly going to have an impact also on those riskier currency pairs like Aussie US dollar and New Zealand US dollar. But what I'm also watching for this 10-year note is I'm also watching the tick up and the tick down for my mortgage rates. As an example, we're going to be looking to build and close on a new house in September, October of this year, and I am watching this. In fact, I just had a conversation this week to start the process of closing on a house, starting the process, mortgage applications, all that stuff. And this has ticked up about 0.15% already this week. So these will fluctuate. And so my goal is to watch these 10-year notes, watch the 30-year fixed mortgage rates, watch and see where we're at, because my goal is to try to lock in something sub 3%. If I can lock in a sub 3% mortgage rate, that would be fantastic. What I need to happen, though, I need that 10-year note to start to settle back down. Right? I need that 10-year note to start falling back into this 1.2, maybe 1.0 area. And again, we could look at this with a Fibonacci. Just grab some fibs. If we have an intermediate high right here, all right, and we pull back. So if we have double bottoms, we rally up here to pass support. I could see this being a little bit of a point scored. We pull back down into this 1.2 area, 1.0 area. If I can lock in some mortgage rates at this price, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm not, I don't have a crystal ball. But if we have the 10-year note dropping, I wouldn't be surprised if the 30-year fixed mortgage rate, national average wise, can be at the very, very, very low threes. If it can be sub 3, I'm probably willing to pay for 60 to 90 days of locked in rates. Okay, just because in the long run that's going to help a ton. So this is the stuff that I'm watching. And honestly, from this area, I feel like off these lows at 0.51 or 0.50, I think that we are destined for this to go higher, right? And even if we consolidate a little bit longer, we might have this thing come back down a little bit and then start to tick up. But as this happens, the pressure is on for the central banks to start raising rates. The pressure is on to see that, if this is what was spooking the stock market this week. If rates are anticipated to rise, it's going to scare the stock market. And that's what we saw this week. That's why yesterday was so crazy. It was a pretty dramatic turn for the week. Okay, so whoever's watching out there, I know we have a lot of traders in the room today. The Euro Swiss, we had some incredible wins this week, but I'm glad we took some profit. Okay, so just in the currency pairs, let me get rid of some of this stuff here. So we took some amazing profit on the Euro Swiss. It was in 2 legs. So this was a really nice leg of profit last year. We scalped this area for several months, and we still held some positions and took some profit right here at our yearly pivot, 110.45. It ended up going up a little bit higher than that, nearly 111. So I certainly left a few pips on the table, but overall, destination achieved, and I'm out of this trade, and I'm fine with that. CAD Swiss was another one. Okay, CAD Swiss, same thing. We were buying this level, took a ton of profit right here in this pocket, built some positions, scalped this and maintained the range, took it right up into our pocket levels. So great trading on both Euro Swiss and CAD Swiss. Again, that took months and months to play out, but it was really nice profits. And then this week, I know that I had some traders that were, uncomfortable, right? I had some traders that were like, oh, I don't know, Chris, I'm upside down in all these trades. Like, what do I do? Traders are like, we're in these price action pro trades and we're losing. What happened yesterday? Right? This is why we trade small. This is why we work high time frames. This is why we trade the big picture. Okay? Is there an explanation of all of a sudden, like we knew that the stock market was going to drop yesterday? Or was it set up and actually foretold in currencies? What's pretty amazing is a lot of our setups yesterday, as far as a risk-off slide in the stock market dropping, were all forecasted in currency pairs. So the Aussie yen. The Aussie yen was a great example of this thing just going into ridiculous levels. We reached multi-year highs. We're coming back to the 2018 and 2019 highs right here. Okay? So it made sense. It made sense that we'd have at least a pullback. And so if this is, still channeling, I decided that was a big enough move to take some profit. I'm looking to see, can it pull back and fail and go back down and break this trend line once and for all until we hit this level. Find some past structure. Find this level. Find some past structure. So I don't think that the trade is necessarily done. I'm not fully committed to this all of a sudden just dropping, just like a rock for the bears. I think that what we're going to do is typically when you see a transition in the market, you'll see the market like it did yesterday. You'll see the market drop dramatically. and then we'll fight with the pullback. So watch this. This is what I'm going to do. So whoever's asking, how do you do those reload trades? Watch this. Here's what I'm going to do. So we had some great trades in on the Aussie yen. All right. Now, granted, I'll show you my positions here. So for one of my accounts on my Aussie yen, I'm still holding. Okay. So here's one of my accounts here for the Aussie yen. Here's the daily picture. So I'm still in on the Aussie yen. I'm still maintaining a base position. Now, what I'm going to do in the shorter time frames is I'm going to reload these trades. Right? So if you can see my drawing tool, we had this amazing swing yesterday. I had entries in here and in here, and I wanted to take profit. So I went ahead and I took partial profit, and I talk about that in my my trade management video that'll hit my YouTube channel right after this. And I went ahead and took profit. And the reason why is sometimes when we see this dramatic sell-off, okay, we could see intraday. We could say today, for example, or early next week, we could see the market pulling back and retesting. This would be a swing, pullback, let's say 50%, pullback 38%, pullback 61%. You'll find those little Fibonacci behavior levels and then see if the market goes lower. Okay, now if I'm still wrong and this goes down and down and down and down, well, my break even's right there. And so if I get this entire position in profit, I'm still going to take profit. Okay, but if I get the chance to take partial profit and I get a pullback here, I'm going to reload. So I've taken money on this leg. And if it goes down a little bit lower, I'm going to take money on this leg, right? And my break even, if I add to it with any additional trades, so this is a sell limit, this is a sell limit. If I get reloaded on either of those two positions, this moves my cost up. This moves my break even up. And I can still trade this down to some really nice levels on the higher time frames. Okay, so that is one. So Aussie yen, that is one. My Aussie CAD, this is another one I'm looking to reposition in. So we had the Aussie CAD. Let me go to the higher time frame here. I did the same thing. Okay, so we had Aussie CAD essentially positioned, trades in here, worked its way up. I had a couple of sell trades here. It worked out really nicely yesterday. Now, I did take some partial profits. In fact, I took, I think, one small loss because it was just at break even, just around break even, and I took a win, a win, a win, a win, a win. I was really aggressive up here for the last couple of days because I like this currency pair. We saw the right signals, and it dropped nicely to the trend line. Now, I certainly hope that this is going to do this. You see how we're coming back below these recent lows? High to low. If this consolidates a little bit, I'm looking for this area to sell it again. Okay, if it comes back up to this high, I'm looking for this area to sell it again. I'm looking for confirmation of this Aussie CAD on the right side of the trend line to break, retest, and go. That's it. Okay, so behavior-wise, if this is simply a 1, 2, 3 on the Aussie CAD, I want to make sure that we turn that into profit. And so I did take some profits right here. Okay, I still want to get back into this trade, so I'm looking for some type of reload trade on a pullback. I'm looking for some type of reload trade on the back side of the trend line for some follow through. That's all. So I don't think this is asking too much on a pair like this. The Aussie dollar was very similar. Okay, you'll see that I have some positions in on Aussie dollar. I also kind of leveled myself into a couple of trades here, had some nice reactions the last couple of days, took some partial profits. Go down to the smaller time frame. Here's what I'm doing on the Aussie dollar. This is my swing. So I had this 1 hour high all the way down to this recent low. If we pull back, okay, I'm looking for an entry here. I'm looking for an entry here. So this is going to be roughly a 50% swing, okay, 50% swing, and this is retesting the highs. So if we pull back halfway, if we pull back all the way, I'm still going to maintain a base position. Okay, who's with me? Who understands that? Right? So does that make sense? I'm not done with these trades. I'm not done with Aussie dollar. I'm not done with Aussie CAD. I'm not done with Aussie yen. I'm just getting started. I'm just now starting to see that price is going our way. I want to make sure I get paid on some of that work of patiently waiting and having price go your way, because this is what can happen. You can either sit in the trade and hope it all goes your way the entire time. Right? And a lot of times that's fine. Like, that's fine. I love it when the trade from this slide just keeps going, and we just keep holding for profit. But when we start to see high volatility, and especially with a pair like Aussie yen and Aussie dollar, they are very much risk on, risk off trades. And so if we see, let me get this out of the way for a second. If we see the stock market, okay, let's say we see the stock market do this. Let's say we see the stock market, from this support start to spike back up. Okay, quick question. If the Aussie dollar is a risk on or risk off currency pair, if the stock market goes up, what do you think the Aussie dollar is going to do? If the stock market goes up, what do you think the Aussie dollar is going to do? It's probably going to go up. If the stock market goes up, you're probably going to see the Aussie yen also go up. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to go up and make new highs necessarily, but it means that if we go up in the stock market, I would be looking for that correlation of the Aussie yen going up too, because it's favoring the risk on currency pair. And same thing with the Aussie dollar. So Aussie yen, Aussie dollar will probably pull back, right? And I'm looking to see if we can sell those rallies. So if it pulls back here, I'm looking to sell the rally. If it pulls back here, I'm looking to sell the rally on the currency pairs. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So you got it, right? Everyone's saying the right answer. That's perfect. So that's the correlation I'm watching for. But as far as trading this, I wanted to take some partial profits. This is some of the activity from this week. So I closed out a lot of trades. Aussie yen closed for some bucks. Aussie CAD closed for some bucks. Aussie CAD again, some partial positions. A lot of actually trades here on Aussie CAD. And then I have my pound dollar. Aussie dollar, Aussie CAD again, New Zealand dollar. Let's see here. Everything else is running. There were some partials on. What else? I closed it out yesterday in my Telegram channel. What was it? So here's Telegram, my little flex room. Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound dollar, and then I added partials on the Aussie yen, partials on the more. There's more. No, I didn't close dollar CAD or dollar Swiss. I'm still holding those. And then the elites this morning, Euro Aussie was a big win. Pound New Zealand was a nice win for over 100 pips, and Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand paid out beautifully, and we're still going to ride those trades. Okay, so there is still plenty of activity left in these trades, and I'm just happy to say that the Price Action Pro, which is a little robot that we just set up, we planned the trade out ahead of time. We had 500 plus pips closed up this week on it, right? Let's see here. David says he's still doing London breakout manual. I'm not doing that manual, dude. I got to wake up. Larry is asking about the Price Action Pro or the London breakout. I don't want to get up at 3 in the morning, right? That's like 50% of why I built that robot. So I don't have to wake up. Okay. If you check the currency strength from today, look. Okay, was the pound pair really active at 3 a.m.? Let me change the color here. Was the pound really active at 3 a.m.? Not necessarily pound, but the pound was strong. And look up, pound Aussie, pound Aussie, pound New Zealand were great trades. Okay, pound CAD, dollar, Swiss, like everything was on the move today. We actually look at the volatility. The first time in a while, we've actually seen some big numbers. Okay, volatility's good, right? Volatility's fantastic. So anyway, I just want to show it was a good week. It was a big chunk of profit on Euro Swiss. It's been a long time coming. Some partial profits on these little positions: Aussie yen, Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, pound dollar, New Zealand CAD. So currency wise, it was a great week. Stock wise, grabbed a little profit at AMC. I'm looking at this EV portfolio, and I think I shared that with my trading room this week. If interested for this as well, I will show you. I'll type it up. I think we talked about this last week or on Monday. The week, sometimes these weeks fly by. But I'm looking at a bit of a electric vehicle portfolio. Now, keep in mind that the expectations are this. This EV stuff might be the new thing, right? This might be in its infancy. It doesn't mean we're automatically going gangbusters from day one, right? Look at that. Kevin, that's awesome, man. Kevin says closed 900 pips with Price Action Pro. That is awesome. Okay, good stuff. Larry's asking David. Okay, gotcha. I thought they were asking me, man. Awesome, Kevin. That's great to hear. All right, so let's talk EV stocks. So EV stocks. Okay, now overview would be, is this the next big 3 to 5 to 10 year sector, right? If we see a push toward carbon neutrality, carbon emission reduction, carbon free, whatever it is, zero emissions, are these EV plays going to be the big stocks in the next 3, 5, 10 years? I don't know, but you'd like to think so. Okay, these are all, I'm looking at kind of a diversified approach where I have, car makers, I have battery makers and providers, chip companies like semiconductors, also commodities and raw materials. So there's going to be a lot of hands in this entire sector. And so those stocks, and I'll just give you the ones that I'm personally in. I started to build this the last couple of months. So Tesla, is one. NIO is the equivalent to that. Like I said, I'm looking at it more long term, so I have to level myself into those stocks. I'm also in BLNK. I'm in Ford. I'm in Toyota Motors. I'm in STLA, which is it used to be Daimler Chrysler that merged with some European car makers. They have like $50 billion in infrastructure that they're putting into electric vehicles. And so the concern is like all these major automakers that were dwarfed by Tesla's market cap are now going to start to fight back and is going to give Tesla a run for its money. Maybe. I still think Tesla is being looked at and viewed and priced in as kind of the pioneer and trailblazer for the best technology. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But in addition to that, I'm also looking at LAC as one. Let's see, Workhorse is another. Workhorse actually had a pretty interesting week. They lost a bid for the Postal Service. They halted trading this week on Workhorse as well. So I'll take a look at that one in just a second. Ride, NGA, and I think that's it. So this is my little portfolio right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, GM is in there as well with the autos. So Ford and GM. So the major automakers, including Tesla, NIO is the China version of that, NGA. So it's a little portfolio. So each one for me, starting out anywhere from $250, a stock to $500, and looking for levels to build. Okay, so I know that I may not be getting in at the best prices. I know that where I typically start my trades might not be the best entry, but I'm looking at where the technicals fall. So I did get filled on several of these this week. Workhorse, for example. Okay, Workhorse is at current price. It's $16.26. I got filled at a limit buy at $17. There is a yearly pivot right here at $17.30. I put in a limit buy at $17. I got filled at 17. So currently I'm upside down a little bit. I'm overall not that concerned because if I look at this chart, okay, could I do something with Workhorse? Absolutely. Could I take trade 1 at 17 and trade 2 down here at single digits? Absolutely I could. So trade 1, if this drops into less than $5, I'm buying trade 2 for sure. And I will gladly hold this until it gets back to $25 and possibly higher towards $40. I mean, if my break even can be $5 or $6 and this goes back up to $40, that's a huge return. So I'll wait, and even though there was some bad news this week and missing the bid on the Postal Service, it's not done. This could just be started, right? NKLA is another one. I didn't actually include that, but NKLA, this is like either the best thing or the worst thing. So I'm putting a buy level in at $15. Didn't get filled yet, but I'm looking for it. LAC, I did get filled on LAC. This one, let me look at my Webull account here. I know I have Webull up. Let's see, LAC, I'm in at $17. So I'm in at $17 on LAC, and this is my analysis. Past resistance becomes support. That's level 1. If it falls back into this level, level 2. If it falls back into these crazy lows, level 3. I will hold LAC. If we get back to these highs ever, I will hold this between $17 and single digits, sub 5. So let's say, again, I can build a position below $10, and in the next 3 to 5 years, it goes up to $30. Could I take a 300+% or more on this stock eventually? Sure. So EV portfolio. Yes? Okay. Rivian goes public. It'll be huge. Yeah, I know Rivian. Are they being brought public by a SPAC? Yes or no? See, heard Kathy Wood bought Workhorse. That's fine. I mean, pretty much whatever she's touching has a lot of interest right now. I mean, she's talking about Bitcoin taking over bonds and Bitcoin going to $1 million+ dollars. I mean, she's got some pretty amazing insights to like Tesla being huge, and that's fine. If she bought Workhorse, great. I mean, ARK is like one of the craziest funds. I mean, they've grown so much in the last 12 to 24 months. Almost it feels like their growth is kind of unsustainable. Like they're going to have to really diversify because they can't just put that much money into certain concentrations. But a great story, right? I mean, just a ton of money because they've had such great performance. And Kathy Wood, I like her jib. The jib for jab. She talks a good game. She's all over the place now. You can find her, interviews all over the place with Goldman Sachs and Bloomberg. So pretty exciting stuff. Okay. So let's see here. For the sake of time, it's 10:15. We've been live today for about 45 minutes. Anything else you'd like me to kind of discuss today? I mean, the whole point is we get together, have some fun, weekly recap, let you know what's happening. It's been an interesting week, right? It's been a great week. I am still ready for some of these currency pairs to still behave. Okay. I mean, Aussie dollar. How long have we been waiting for this? right? How long have we been waiting? If this thing keeps dropping, by the way, so I'm looking for reload trades on the Aussie dollar in case we get them. Because if we still see this Aussie dollar come back up again, we'll still get this trade that we want. We'll still get the trade. I'm not worried about it. Same thing on New Zealand dollar. I'm not worried about these currency pairs. Okay, what I wanted to do is I want to utilize some of that profit and get back in. So we came back to this level here on New Zealand dollar. If it goes up one more time, I'm still looking for a sell trade. So I'm ready to reload. And if you're with me next week, we can start out on Monday and talk about these some more. If you're with me for the flex room, we'll talk about them all week and we'll get some pending orders built up. But hands down, fun week. Euro Swiss, it was a long time coming. CAD Swiss, great explosive trades there as the Swiss was kind of on its own little island and acting very strange, but in our favor because we had these trades anticipated. When it comes to the other currency pairs like Aussie dollar, Aussie yen, Aussie CAD, it's just like in general, you see that currency strength chart. The Aussie and New Zealand were very responsive currency pairs in the last 48 hours, like incredibly responsive. This is yesterday, right? So this is yesterday's currency strength. Look at this flood, literally this flood into to safety. This is, by the way, look, and if I have people that are tuning in that are just heavy stock traders, or you're watching this recording, you're heavy stock traders, and you don't know about this currency stuff, that's fine. You can totally trade stocks, right? And stocks are great, obviously, but there is a lot of technical alignments and correlations with what currency pairs do to actually what the stock market lines up and does as well. So when we see this flow into safe haven currency pairs, it was not a surprise that yesterday's stock market slid. And so even if you're just using currencies as a benchmark, if you're looking at dollar strength or yen strength or Swiss franc strength, that typically is a run into safe haven. That usually means risk off in the stock market. We saw a big slide yesterday in the stock market. So these are safe haven currency pairs at the top. That is the Swiss, the euro, the dollar, and the yen. And then we have our CAD, our pound, our New Zealand, our Aussie. It's a perfect example of risk off at the top, risk on at the bottom. And if you came back earlier in the week, this would have been the complete opposite. So take this and flip it upside down, because if it was Monday and Tuesday, right, or the last couple of weeks, this would have been the opposite, where all of these were the strongest and all of these were the weakest, right? So you tend to see that correlation really nicely. It plays out in currency pairs. And you know what? A lot of this stuff, like the stock market slide yesterday, was telegraphed and anticipated in currencies. So it's nice to have that extra confirmation, that extra market analysis to see how these things line up, and actually you can be ready for trades. That way you're ready and you're prepared for when it does happen, and you also have a way to explain it. You have a way to rationalize it. Because one thing is if trades just all of a sudden happen at random, that's not good. So we're obviously trying to look for reasons to take trades and justify how we're getting in, and then have a reason to hold the trades longer. So anyway, where are we at today as we wrap up the month, by the way? So I'll wrap up this session here in just a few minutes. This is the last trading day of the month. So final trading day of February. It's a short trading month. We go into the weekend and fill. All right, we start next week. Monday is going to be March 1st. What I'd like to do really quickly, let's review some of our targets, right? Let's review some of those monthly targets. Okay, so let me do this really quickly on a couple of currency pairs, and I do want to get to cryptos as well. I see some interest. As somebody said, what about cryptos? Nope, you didn't miss it. I'll talk about it. So let's go into Aussie dollar. I'm going to bring up that little ghost pivot indicator that I have, and let's see what next month's pivot is going to look like. And it's going to be based on the high of February, the low of February, and the close of today. Okay, that will be how we can calculate next month's pivot. So I've got it in here. Let me go to ghost. Let me move it up. Ghost. Where you at? There it is. Ghost. Okay. So I'm going to go to the monthly. And there it is. So as of this sell-off, this is what's crazy, right? This is what's so cool about the Forex market. This is where the monthly pivot is calculated to open on Monday. So the monthly pivot for March is calculated right here. Guess what? Why do you think the market slid? Do you think that this market knew that next month's pivot was right there to start the trading week? Yeah. How many times do we see from day to day when you have a day's pivot and the next day's pivot's about to open, you'll see price right here, right? And then it opens right there at the next day's pivot and then continues on with the trend. And then you have another day's pivot that's calculated right towards the end of the day. It closes right there, opens on it, and then goes up again. If the market's going to find these balance points, it usually does it near the end of the day, and it just barely touches the end of the day or the open of the next day, and it continues on. So the same thing here. This was an anticipated pivot for next month, and the market made this just amazing slide right to it, almost as if it was, this prophecy. It's pivot trading. Okay, it's pretty amazing stuff. Let me go to Aussie Yen, do the same thing. Aussie Yen, let's put the same indicator on here, and let's go to the monthly. I'm just curious to see where the monthly is, and we're probably right on it. Exactly, look at that. This is the monthly. So you'll see this officially print as a pivot on Monday, the 1st of March, but this is an anticipated calculation. Crazy, right? Because if we were up here yesterday and we were staying here today, I would still be very interested in shorting next week, right? But it just so happens that the market says, okay, we see what you're up to, monthly pivot, and the market started to move already towards it. Pretty cool stuff, right? Okay. Let's see here. But at some point, okay, are you guys talking amongst yourselves, or is that Abraham just talking to me? Let's see. Nice trading. Yep, good. All right, so we got some good community stuff going on. I love it. Keep talking, right? That's the whole point of having the open chat. Keep talking. Let's go into some cryptos really quickly, and then I'll wrap things up. So I'll try to wrap this up all within an hour today. Bitcoin, we're at 46770. I did talk pretty heavily about cryptos this week in the trading room. I'm expecting this. So we still have this level here. Logically, we could see Bitcoin pulling back a little bit. Okay, lower high, lower low. So I'd say if I'm going to be a little bit concerned with cryptos, it would be this. If Bitcoin keeps sliding lower, and challenges this low, then I think we have a bit more of a topping pattern. I think we could have a pretty fantastic reset on some of these cryptos. Okay? If we see this next week starting to retrace, fails to take out the highs, expect this to fall lower back in to challenge these lows. But if we see that this is a correction this way, let's watch and see how price plays out. If it corrects this way with some type of channel, we will build support again. And we have mining costs right around, $25,000, $20,000, maybe sub $20,000. But again, we also have a bunch of pivots. Weekly pivot, monthly pivot, yearly pivot right here between $24,000 and $20,000. Technically speaking, cryptocurrencies, as volatile as they have been, they've still done an amazing job of finding pivots. Okay, Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum could pull back a little bit next week. So high to low, we could pull back next week. We could fail at the high. We work our way down. So look for a lower high. This sells off. I'm not interested in selling Ethereum. What I'm more interested in is looking at equal lows, looking at previous breakout levels, looking at pivot levels to add again. Okay, if I could buy Ethereum under $1,000 again, I will gladly add to my position. If I could buy Bitcoin again under $20,000, I will gladly add to my position. If I could buy Litecoin, okay, below $100, I would gladly add to my position. So same, you see how the structure is very similar? So this could be either going up this way and still trying to make new highs, or this is going to come back down into this pivot cluster and we start looking for buy levels. If it's $100 or lower on Litecoin, I'm looking to add more. Okay, so you can see some really similar structures on those cryptocurrencies. Ripple looks to be more of a range trade right now. 70 cents with these spikes up, down here into the 30 cent, 20 cent area. So we might see some stability on Ripple around 20, 25 cents, heads back up towards 70 plus. I would maybe add some more. I think it's, well, I don't know if it's easy for U.S. traders now because Ripple it was a delisted crypto. So I'll just watch, right? Like I'll watch it. I might roll it into another currency. I don't know. But I think that Ripple at some point can hit $3, which is why I'm in it from the first place, holding it at 17 cents. So I'm going to still hold my Ripple here. But what I may invest more in is Stellar Lumen, which is right here. We talked about this one in the trading room this week. Is this a channel? Let me draw that better. Is this a channel? Like so. We could hold support and Stellar actually makes a new high. If it breaks the structure, then we start looking for it to come back in and revisit this pivot cluster right around 10 cents, right around 15 cents. And we build support, we hold this thing extremely low and see if this wants to get back to the highs again, 60 cents. We have Stellar at some point. If I go to the feed, Stellar Lumen on Binance, let's go Binance. Let me see what the weekly highs are. Look at this. At one point in time in 2018, 2017, the highs were over $1. So if I'm holding Stellar at 10 cents and this thing goes to $1, I'll take my 1,000%, right? I'll take my 1,000% return. So it's food for thought, stuff to watch. Yes? Okay. Let's see here. Is there a way to display future pivots? That is an indicator there. Whoever's asking the question, sick. That is a indicator that I use a MetaTrader for. If you want that indicator, you can email me C Pulver at Market Traders. I'll send you the indicator. It goes on MetaTrader 4 though, just so you know. So you can throw it on MetaTrader 4. Okay. GRT. So what's 40 talking about there? Graph or are those charts there? GRT. Is GRT a crypto? GRT USD. So this one is not a Coinbase, or is it? GRT is a Coinbase. Okay. So Coinbase feed at $1.77. Interesting last couple of weeks. Let's go to a smaller time frame. So we're at $1.77. I haven't. I mean, I'll have to do some research on GRT. I'm not really familiar with it. Are we going to pull back into this area? Possibly have a little bit of a correction here. I mean, if you are in it personally, I mean, if you're in it below $1 and it's up to 178, that's an awesome return. If this is long term where we start to establish some structure in here, look for something to make some new highs. There should be some technical structure here. Okay. I did look at is it GBTC grayscale? Yep, I did look at GBTC. This is essentially moving along with Bitcoin. So we're at 41.94. I think that this one, same thing. We might fall, pull back again, fall again. This is going to be very similar to how Bitcoin moves. It's just a lot cheaper. But is this going to always reflect 100% correlation with Bitcoin? It's going to be close. That's the whole point. It should be close. Okay. So anyway, I mean, look, there's a ton of cryptos out there to play. This is my personal portfolio here. So I am in Bitcoin, BTC. I am in Ethereum. I'm in Litecoin. I'm in Ripple. I'm in XLM, which is Stellar Lumen. I am in the Basic Attention Token. I'm in Link, and I'm in EOS. Those are the coins that I'm in. I believe that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm missing one. Ripple, Stellar, BAT. What am I missing? I think that's all of them. All right, so anyway, I know off the top of my head, those are what I'm in. So I am in those, and a lot of my participation was back in 2019, so I have some pretty amazing levels. BAT I bought recently. I think it was in December or January, either December last year or January, and I'm in at a great price. Link, same thing. Now, I've got traders in my trading room that have been in Link for much, much longer than I have, but I bought Link around $10. EOS, I got in around $3. So, I mean, look, again, I'm holding. It's a finite amount. I've been using profits to add new coins, and I'm still trying to play kind of some of these major coins with a little bit of diversification in case Bitcoin is going to drive lower while altcoins and other ones start to take off. Okay, so anyway, all good. So everyone said I'm also in BNB, and there's a lot of them, and it's just it's one thing. Like cryptos is a portfolio. Trader friend of mine, Tyson Clayton, that does a great job with his cryptos. He put together a portfolio. Where's that ultimate crypto portfolio? Here it is. So he just recently talked about allocating some cash into YFI. Algo, which I know he follows as well. So, every probably couple of weeks, he ends up posting a little update to his crypto portfolio and allocations. This is a great thing to follow. I talk about this, I share this in my trading room as well. So, it's taking, $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever your portfolio is, understanding that all of this, by the way, this is all calculated risk. In cryptos, I believe that I can either make a lot of money in this down the road, or I can lose all of it. I'm prepared with that. Okay. Trading wise in stocks, in FOREX, that is not ever my plan. My plan is to protect my capital, protect my bottom line, protect my profits. But cryptocurrencies to me is pure speculation. It could be the greatest thing ever for the next 10 years, and it could truly be a bubble. I don't know. Or it could be the new decentralized monetary system. I don't know. So I'm willing to take a stab at it. I'm willing to speculate, and it's been an interesting last 12 months. So anyway, all right, traders, let's go ahead and wrap it up there. We've been right on the hour mark, so I'll go ahead and I think that's a good time to wrap it up. If you are again following me out there on social media, I would appreciate this for today. If you're on the channel, if you're watching the YouTube channel, smash that thumbs up button for me. Click that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell. We go live on Fridays and Mondays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay. Also, if you want to join me, I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel. I have it right here, actually. This is my little software. I just finished my video on trade management, so that's going to premiere on my YouTube channel as well. So if you go to chrispulver.com, or Chris, I have that website too, but youtube.com/Chris Pulver. Go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to premiere a new video in my playlist. Okay, so I'm going to premiere a new module, a new lesson for my Keep It Seriously Simple video series. If you want to watch that with me during the premiere, I'll go in live and I'll chat with everybody. If you want to ask some questions, trade management stuff, it's about managing winners and managing losers. All right, and there's a lot of extra subjects and other things you can bring into these sessions, and I'm happy to have that live Q&A and the interaction. Okay. But look, I appreciate everyone being with me today live. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a fantastic week. Let's keep it running, right? So great work in the trade room this week. Great patience with my traders out there that have been sitting in Euro Swiss and CAD Swiss and letting those things explode this week. And for the traders that have stuck with me in the Price Action Pro the last couple of weeks, is it worth it? It is, finally. It's been a fun week. Okay. So I appreciate the comments. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I love it. And let me know if you need any help. I'll see you on Monday for the weekly outlook. And have a great weekend. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.